Hey, what's going on, guys? Jane and Camera Pictures here, or just a Sports Scores and News, whichever channel you're watching, it's the same. Today I'm going to be making my 2019 March Madness predictions. Here we go. First of all, Duke versus the winner of North Dakota State and North Carolina Central, which I think will be North Carolina Central, but I don't really think it'll matter in the end because Duke will win pretty easily. VCU or UCF, I think this will be a good game. Battle of the not-so-heard-ofs, especially VCU. I'm going to take UCF with the slight upset. Mississippi State or Liberty, a lot of people are picking Liberty. I'm not. Mississippi State. Virginia Tech or St. Louis, I'm going to take Virginia Tech pretty easily. Maryland or the winner of Belmont and Temple, which I think will be Belmont, I'm going to take the 11-6 upset and take Belmont. LSU or Yale, Yale scores points a lot. I watched the final for the Ivy League tournament against Harvard. They scored, I think 90 points. But I think LSU's going to win. Probably close, though. Louisville or Minnesota, there's a little bit of history in there if you didn't know. Minnesota is coached by Richard Pitino, whose dad is the ex-coach at Louisville. But I think Minnesota's going to win. And Michigan State and Bradley. Bradley is in the same conference as Loyola Chicago, who we all know what happened there. But it's not going to happen again, Michigan State. Going to the West, Gonzaga and the winner of Farley Dickinson and Prairie View A&M. Gonzaga easily. I think Prairie View will probably win that, but it really doesn't matter. I think Gonzaga's going to win anyways. Syracuse or Baylor. Don't ever underestimate Syracuse in the tournament. They always, at the very least, get past the first round. Marquette or Murray State. I've chosen both ways in different brackets, but I'm going to take Murray State with a 12-5 upset. Florida State and Vermont. If there's any other 4 seed, I'd think Vermont might have an upset, but Florida State is on fire, and they'll probably want revenge for their crappy performance against Duke in the second half. So Florida State. Buffalo and the winner of Arizona State and St. John's, which I think will be Arizona State. But I don't think it will matter because Buffalo wins. Texas Tech or Northern Kentucky. Texas Tech should win that pretty handily. Nevada or Florida. Like a month ago, I would have chosen Nevada easily. But now I'm going to take Florida because Nevada just does not look good. And Michigan or Montana. I think you can know which one I'm going to pick. And quick side note. Can we talk about the fact that there is Florida State and Florida in the same bracket and that there's a potential for them to make the Elite Eight? That'd be pretty crazy. I don't think it's going to happen, as you'll see later. But that'd be pretty crazy. Virginia or Gardner-Webb. We're moving on to the South. A 1-seed Virginia against a 16-seed dog mascot? Will it happen again? No, Virginia. Ole Miss or Oklahoma? The battle of the overrated in terms of seeds, in my opinion. Oklahoma. Wisconsin or Oregon? Wisconsin's looks inconsistent. Oregon's on fire right now. Oregon with a 12-5 upset. Kansas State or the UC Irvine Anteaters? I'm very tempted to choose UC Irvine just because they're the Anteaters, but I'm going to take Kansas State. Villanova or St. Mary's? I'm tempted to take the 11-6 upset here. But besides Gonzaga, St. Mary's hasn't really done much this year. Villanova's looked inconsistent, but they've beaten some good teams. So Villanova. Purdue or Old Dominion. I'm kind of tempted to take the upset, but Old Dominion's just played way too many close games, especially in their conference tournament. So Purdue. Cincinnati or Iowa. Cincinnati for sure. Iowa has not looked good. Tennessee or Colgate toothpaste. You may have a nice looking brand of toothpaste, but that's about it. Tennessee. And in the Midwest, North Carolina or Iona? North Carolina by a mile. Utah State or Washington? Great football game, but Utah State's going to win in basketball because they just look better right now. Auburn or New Mexico State? I've chosen both ways in different brackets, but this time I'm going to take Auburn, the safer pick. Kansas and Northeastern? Kansas pretty safely. Can we talk about how tough this division is? There's North Carolina, Kansas, and Kentucky, and maybe some other sleepers. Iowa State and Ohio State. I don't think Ohio State belongs in the tournament, so I'm going to take Iowa State. Houston or Georgia State? Houston pretty easily. Wofford or Seton Hall? This is the game of the round of 64. Thursday night. Everyone watch it. It's going to be a great game. I just have a feeling that's going to be an awesome game. Seton Hall was against any other 7 seed. I'd choose them, and I'd probably choose them to make a deep run. But it's against Wofford, so I have to take Wofford in a close one. Kentucky and Abilene Christian. The Battle of the Wildcats. Kentucky wins pretty easily. All right, let's go to the round of 32. For a spot in the Sweet 16, Duke versus UCF. Duke pretty easily. Sorry, UCF. In football, I choose you. Mississippi State or Virginia Tech. I think Virginia Tech ends Mississippi State because Mississippi State hasn't looked like they wanted to play basketball in some of their games. Belmont or LSU. LSU looks great with their coach, Will Wade, on the floor, but he won't be on the floor, so I'm going to take Belmont with the 11-3 upset. Minnesota or Michigan State. I think Michigan State pretty easily, mainly because I think they got completely snubbed. I honest to goodness think that the committee switched Michigan and Michigan State. I think Michigan State should be in Gonzaga's region and Michigan should be in Duke's. But it didn't turn out to be that way, so Michigan State's angry and wants to prove themselves. Down to the west, Gonzaga versus Syracuse. Like I said, don't underestimate Syracuse. However, it's Gonzaga, so let's do Gonzaga. Murray State and Florida State, the battle of the states. I'm going to choose Florida State because they can control the tempo a lot better, even though I want to take Murray State as an upset pick. Buffalo and Texas Tech. Texas Tech's going to win based on their defense. Florida and Michigan. Will there be a potential for an Elite 8 of Florida and Florida State? Like I said earlier, I don't think so. Michigan. Going into the South, Virginia or Oklahoma. Oklahoma, your round's kind of to an end, bud. I'm sorry. Oregon or Kansas State. Depends on if Dean Wade is playing. If they're playing, or if he's playing, Kansas State wins. If he's not playing, which right now I don't think he's projected to be, Oregon wins. 12-4 upset. Villanova or Purdue. Villanova's looked so inconsistent at some points this year. So I'm going to take Purdue. And Cincinnati or Tennessee. Cincinnati is playing in Columbus. So I think it's going to be a very close game. Cincinnati may give Tennessee a scare, but Tennessee's going to win in the end. Probably by like 2 points, 3 points. North Carolina or Utah State. I think Utah State may give them a scare, but North Carolina is going to come out on top. Auburn or Kansas. Auburn's on fire right now. They just won the SEC tournament. And Kansas, which Kansas is going to show up? The one that lost to West Virginia and Texas? Or the one that was the runner-up in the Big 12 tournament? I'm going to take Auburn here. I don't think I've taken them in any of my brackets so far. But yet, here we are. Iowa State and Houston. This would be a great football game. But it's basketball. I'm going to take Houston, but in a close one. Wofford and Kentucky. Wofford got the short straw in this situation. Again, just like with Seton Hall, any other 2 seed, I think they could give them a scare. But in the Dogs versus Cats battle, I'm going to take the Cats. Sweet 16, back to the East region for a spot in the Elite 8. Rematch of Duke and Virginia Tech. I think Virginia Tech's going to play them close, but Duke and all their really good players, Zion and RJ and all them, Duke's going to make it to the Elite 8. Belmont or Michigan State. Belmont's run is going to come to an end. I'm so sorry, guys. Michigan State. Gonzaga or Florida State. Rematch of last year's Sweet 16. I don't know why that popped up. I think that it's going to be a close game, a fun game to watch. But I think Florida State is going to come out with the upset. Gonzaga is going to be one of the first number ones to be eliminated from the tournament. Texas Tech or Michigan. Another really good game. Texas Tech has their defense. Michigan looks good against any team not named Michigan State. So, with that being said, I'm going to take a slight upset. I know I just said they look good, but Texas Tech with a slight upset. I just have a feeling about that one. Virginia or Oregon. Again, Oregon's on fire right now, and Virginia was kind of exposed against Florida State, but I'm going to take Virginia. Purdue or Tennessee. I think Purdue's going to pull out the slight upset mainly because, just like with Texas Tech, I just have a feeling Purdue and Texas Tech are going to be two really good 3 seeds. Auburn and North Carolina, I think North Carolina is going to end Auburn's little run, and they're going to make it to the Elite 8. And in a similar-looking logo battle, Houston versus Kentucky, I think that Kentucky will beat Houston to move on to the Elite 8. In the Elite 8 in the East region, Duke versus Michigan State, I think it's a great battle between two great coaches, Coach K versus Tom Izzo. I think I've chosen both ways in different brackets, but I'm going to take Michigan State in a very close upset. Florida State and Texas Tech. Again, I've chosen both ways. Florida State knows how to control the tempo. Texas Tech has a really good defense, but I'm going to take Florida State again with the slight upset. Virginia or Purdue, I want to take the slight upset, but I'm not going to because Virginia has something to prove after last year's yikes moment. North Carolina, Kentucky, Battle of the Blue Bloods. This will be a very entertaining game, but I think North Carolina comes out on top in a rematch of earlier this year. I unintentionally have 3 ACC teams, but we'll roll with it. Michigan State or Florida State, I think Michigan State is going to end Florida State's run in the Battle of the States, round 2. And Virginia or North Carolina, I think North Carolina is going to win and win their rematch. Championship game, U.S. Bank Stadium, home of the Minnesota Vikings on April 8th. Michigan State or North Carolina. You know what? I'm going to take Michigan State with the upset. Nope, just kidding. North Carolina is going to win the national championship by a final score of 81-77. There you go. North Carolina. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.